Right. Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Jordy's Basement. My name is Jordan. And as always, I'm joined by my good friend Rob out in beautiful Iowa. How you doing, Rob?
Hey, hey, hey.
It's a beautiful day. It's going to be 85 degrees. It's a great day for metal. Today we are ranking the albums of possibly metal's biggest name these last few decades, and that's the mighty Metallica. I will remind you, ranking the albums. This is the seventh or eighth one we've done. Look at the playlist here on Jody's Basement channel to look at all of them. They've all been a lot of fun to do. Most of them have been very difficult. This one specifically, for me anyway, was kind of easy. I was shocked. The number one is a runaway number one, which is I think the first time that's happened for me. I'm anxious to hear what Rob had that stink eye this morning when we were talking about it. So I'm anxious to get into it. We are there's 10 Metallica albums. Well, there's 11 as of today, because 72 Seasons comes out today. So we're going to rank the 10 from least played to most played. But I got to say, last night I got to attend the worldwide global premiere, they called it, in cinemas of the new album, and the band was interspersed with their commentary throughout, and I was blown away. And I've been waiting for a Metallica album like this one for 30 years. And what I mean by that is that it sounds good. Nobody's going to say it doesn't sound good. Nobody's going to say it's tinny. Nobody's going to say the snare drum. Nobody's going to say you can't play it loud. The mix was bad. None of that garbage. New producer, brand new guy that never used before. Feidelman, I think his name. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. But it sounds sonically fantastic. The songs are great, reminiscent of the Black Album. So even though we're not ranking it today, I'm really curious to see, and we'll check back later in a couple of weeks to see where the new album, 72 Seasons, would rank on this list. But for now, we're doing the top 10 only. And we'll get started throwing it over to Rob for your number 10 Metallica of all time, sir.
First of all, I'd like to apologize to Metallica fans for this, but this album never really clicked with me. The debut, Kill 'Em All, some great stuff on here, but overall, it never really clicked with me. I think I like the live version of these songs more. And of course, what is it? Four Horsemen. I liked it better as the Mechanics from Megadeth. But yeah, great album, but least played.
Yeah, I mean, I want to 100% agree, but yeah, I mean, it's an acquired taste almost. That first album, it was one of those albums when it came out, people who heard it then, which I didn't, were like, whoa, what is that? But yeah, Megaforce Records, Dave Mustaine's all over that album. Everybody knows the story. So Kill 'Em All is your number 10. Cool. My number 10 is Saint Anger. We're going to see where it comes in with Rob, but based on the stink eye, I can't imagine from earlier. But anyway, Saint Anger is just an album that I wish I loved. And this story's been told a million times. I don't like the sound of it. I don't like the tinny drums. I do kind of like it because they never remixed it. They've never remastered or remixed it, and they're on record by saying we're never going to, because that's where we were at that moment in time, and that's where we're going to keep it. There's no changing it would mean changing the way it was, and that's not the way it was. So they're going to leave it like that. I just have a problem with the sound of it. I don't like the direction they were taking. It's bloated. And what else do I have in my notes? I think that's about covers it. Right. It was recorded as it didn't have a bass player. Newsted had left. Bob Rock was playing bass. I do like Some Kind of Monster. I do like Frantic. But overall, I agree with most of Metallica fans. It's the last one I reached for. Number 9, Rob.
Speaking of not wanting to remaster and fix things, here's the Baseless album and Justice for All. Some great stuff on here, but I think it suffers from no bass. Like Jason Newsted is in this band, right? I do love like To Live Is to Die is a fantastic song. I think that was the last song credit for Cliff Burton. He wrote the bass parts for it. And Justice for All title track is great. This one has the bonus discs. I really enjoy the live stuff, but just it's never really been able to hold my interest, the full album.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. The whole thing about no bass, again, going back to what I said about the other album, they're never going to remaster it and put bass on it. That's the way it was at the time. The rumors, the stories floating around that James and Lars had told the producer to deliberately lower the bass to almost nothing. They have a different version of that story. Jason Newsted has his opinion. It was kind of a thing at the time. But that came after Puppets. It was a hotly anticipated album, and there is no bass on it. And for me, it's weird because I listened to it and I'm like, you're right, there's no bass. I never noticed it at the time. I wasn't one of those guys that was like, yeah, there's no bass on this right away. But Anyway, so that's cool. Number nine. So my number nine is Reload, from the seventh album from 1997, the last album with Jason Newsted, Bob Rock behind the console again. Here's a fun fact: you know that the cover of Reload is a mixture of cattle blood and human urine. Did you did you know that? Because if you didn't, now you know it. So go back and look at the album cover. Pretty cool. Fuel is a good opener. I really love Fuel a lot. A matter of fact, that James mentioned this in the 72 Seasons. There's a song on 72 Seasons that starts with just vocals. He was trying to do that. Like he loved when with the Fuel effect when that happened with that song. So that's kind of cool. I really love Memory Remains. It is 76 minutes long. I do think it's a little long again for a Metallica album, but Reload, and it's supposed to be a double album too with Load, I think at the time, but they separated it. I don't know the whole thing. But anyway, Reload is my number nine. Number eight.
We're going to where it started for me, the Black Album.
Wow.
Fantastic album. Like I said, I love these all, but this one, it's just I don't reach for it as often. Some great stuff on here. I think My Friend of Misery is a great forgotten Metallica song. Just don't hear enough of that. My least Unforgiven of the three, it's my least favorite. I don't know why, but fantastic album, but something has to come in that spot. So there you go.
In the trio of Unforgivens, that's your number three. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Got it. I just wanted to clarify. All right. So a very interesting choice there. Obviously, you're talking about Metallica fans, you know, the Black Album. Oh my God, whatever. What a game changer. For me, number eight is this one that's Hardwired. This is the most recent album before, obviously, this new one. From 2016, 10th album, obviously a double album. I think it's too long. It's 77 minutes. Yeah, I know I've said that several times, but I mean, this is an album that doesn't let up from start to finish. And for 77 minutes, it's a little much to take in one sitting, which I like to do as an album guy. I like to listen to, you know, the album the way it was. It's a little much. It was their first album in 8 years, so it was very hotly anticipated. Greg Feidelman, a producer. I think I was wrong early when I said Feidelman, so correct me if I'm wrong on that. I may be wrong on the producer for 72 Seasons, so yeah, I'm sorry if I am. But anyway, Greg Feidelman was a producer here. First time they used him as a producer. The band keeps changing. Production, the sound keeps changing. I don't love the sound on this one either. Particularly, packaging is cool. But overall, it finishes for me at number eight. Hardwired to Self-Destruct.
Yeah, I looked it up. Feidelman did do Hardwired and the new one.
And the new one, okay. And I think he also mastered Death Magnetic, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. But anyways, so thanks for clarifying that. Number seven.
In continuing to piss people off, Master of Puppets. Yeah, it's a fantastic album, like I said. I didn't even hear this album until Dream Theater released their version. I had heard the title track, and I think Damage Inc. was the very first song I heard on this, again, because Dream Theater covered it with Barney Greenwich of Napalm Death. Fantastic album, but not my favorite. I do feel like I'm going to get a lot of hate mail for that, but whatever.
Yeah, all the Metallica fans are hate mailing you right now.
They haven't even seen the video yet, and they're already hate mailing me.
Well, we're headed towards something here that I think might be very interesting with you, Rob. But we'll see as the countdown gets more close to the top. For me, number seven is this one, Death Magnetic. Despite its really cool album art, I don't know if all the CDs came like this, but it's like a descending grave. You fall deeper and deeper in. Anyway, I know you can't capture that on this video. 2008, Rick Rubin, again a different producer of the day, comes in and produces this album. It's the first album with Robert Trujillo on bass, who's, I think, fantastic. The Day That Never Comes is a magnificent song I never get tired of. The problem with this one, again, I can't play it loud. I cannot play this album loud. When you turn it up, the compression, it hurts my ears. Can't do it. Again, the band is not going to change it, although iTunes did release a remastered version just for iTunes. I haven't heard that. I've only heard this CD. I probably should. But whatever. I just can't play it loud. And for me, Metallica is, you got to play them loud. You got to, So anyway, Death Magnetic, number seven for me. Six.
The first Load album. Although I think it has one of my favorite Metallica songs, The Outlaw Torn. Fantastic forgotten song, I think. But some great stuff here. 2x4. Mama Said. Very unlike Metallica, but a very cool song. Just disgusting album cover. I don't even want to talk. I'm not going to look at that. We're just going to set that down.
Do you know what the album cover is, Rob?
Uh-huh.
Let me tell you.
It's messy.
It's artwork that is a combination of human semen and blood. It's pushed between two pieces of plexiglass, which, I mean, I don't know when the last time you did that. It's something that I try to do on a regular basis, possibly monthly. Semen and blood between two pieces of plexiglass and then photographed. And that is what that is. I'm not even joking. That's what that is. But,
it's quite a load.
For you, but it is what it is. Load. Gives it a whole new meaning. Number 6 for me is the debut, Kill 'Em All. I did not know, I knew of this album, but I did not hear this album until very late in my Metallica career because I'm just not a thrash metal guy. I'm more of a prog metal guy, which some of Metallica does lean towards. And this album, I think Seek and Destroy is an amazing song. It's their closing song in their concerts still to this day. It just rips. It's fantastic. And this is let's face it, I mean, this album changed music a little bit. I mean, much like Nirvana's Nevermind or Guns N' Roses, Appetite. I mean, this album came out and I was like, whoa, this is a whole new thing. And look at those guys. Come on. I know the glare is tough, but mean. And the quote at the top, bang that head that doesn't bang. Yeah, this made it bang. Megaforce Records, of course, Dave Mustaine's all over this, writing credits on 4 or 5 of the tracks before he was ceremoniously booted. So yeah, Kill 'Em All is my number 6. So now we're in the top 5.
Gonna reload this one. I loved these albums. I know they cut their hair, those rap bastards, but I loved the music on them. I mean, if we can just get past the hatred we feel for them getting their hair cut, because that seemed to be one of the biggest complaints when these came up. They cut their hair. You fucking fuckers. How dare you? But fantastic album. I even like Marianne Faithfull singing In the Memory Remains. There's something hauntingly beautiful about her voice.
Totally agree. Yeah, you wouldn't say she's a maestro with the vocals, but it fits that song so perfectly. It's haunting. It's true. Cool. Yeah, and I'm one of those guys like you were saying they cut their hair. I like when Metallica does something different and they make a left turn or a right turn. It's cool. Again, I'll bring up last night. They were on one of the songs. I can't remember which one it was, but they had background vocals. Like the chorus had actually harmonizing background vocals. And it was blowing me away. And I was trying to think, when was the last time I heard Metallica have like harmonized background vocals? It was a heavy song. I can't remember the name of the damn thing, but anyway, it made an impression on me. So I love when they take those left turns. Mama Said is a perfect example of that. For me, number 6 is Load from 1996. I think it's more hard rock than thrash. Definitely a different direction for the band. Yeah, they cut their hair. God, that was a big deal. I don't know. It's funny to me. 79 minutes, the longest Metallica album. It's very, very, very long. And it has my wedding song on it. So how can I not love it, right? Ain't My Bitch. Tremendous. The wife and I played it at the wedding. It's just, and I think it's my top 2 or 3 Metallica song of all time. Fantastic song. Just gets me going, pumps me up every time I hear it. So for that reason, the album is number 5 for me. Number 4.
Going Ride the Lightning here. Phenomenal album. I even like Escape, which James Hetfield fucking hates. But I think it's a really cool tune. And then you got the Call of Cthulhu, which may be one of the greatest instrumental tracks ever written. Title track, Fade to Black. The whole album's fantastic.
It really is. And what a huge jump from Kill 'Em All to Ride the Lightning. I mean, the band just completely, you talk about maturing as songwriters. I mean, unbelievable change and difference there. So very cool. Of course, the producer, they had Fleming Rasmussen, the guy who owned the studio, and they liked work he did in the past, and he really made the band better. So yeah, good stuff. My number 4 is the Black Album, self-titled, 1991, 5th album from the band, Bob Rock. We all know their relationship with him. It lasted 4 albums, but we thought it would last 4 minutes based on the documentary. But they did make this thing, and 16 million copies can't be wrong. This thing sold a ton, and still, Enter Sandman, Sad But True, Sad But True has got to be the heaviest riff. I mean, even it wasn't the fastest song, but my God, that song was heavy. And this album, little trivia question for you, Rob. This album was top 10 in every country, with the exception of 3 countries. Can you name one of the 3 countries that was not a top 10 album?
Bulgaria.
You are incorrect. The 3
So close.
Czechoslovakia, where it was number 43, France, where it was number 53, and Mexico, where it was number 42. I mean, come on. The Mexican people, that they don't have any taste in music. Czechoslovakia, come on, French people.
53. You know who does, though? Bulgarians.
Apparently so. We learned a lot in this video.
We did.
Here. All right, number 3.
Next, Hardwired to Self-Destruct.
Wow,
don't understand why this needed to be 2 CDs, though, because it would have all fit on one. I'm not sure. Maybe it was a compression thing. I don't know. Load sounds fine, and it's damn near 80 minutes, so I don't know why, but love this album. And I got the 3-disc version that has the Lords of Summer on it, which I think is a phenomenal song. Should have been on the album. This one really clicked with me the first time I heard it. I really enjoyed it.
Wow, that's cool. I know where this is going. I'm starting to feel it. Number 3 for me, ... and Justice for All. Again, the bass thing notwithstanding, Jason Newsted arrives on the bass, or did he? We're still not clear on that. Fleming Rasmussen, the producer again. And this is the infamous album where they, of course, lost to Jethro Tull at the Grammys for Album of the Year, which is still a funny video to watch when you watch them backstage going, what happened? Anyway, it did win a Grammy, though. The song did win a Grammy for Best Performance in Metal. But the album, of course, lost to Jethro Tull, and that'll never be lived down. But I love the title track. Blackened is fantastic. The title track and Justice for All. James's vocal phrasing in that is so killer. And it holds a special place because it was actually the first album, Metallica album, that I bought when it came out. I got turned on to them by Puppets, so this was the first one I bought when it came out. And then I went to see them at the Monsters of Rock tour with Kingdom Come and Van Halen and the Scorpions, etc. That was an incredible 95-degree concert, but one that I'll never forget. So Injustice for All is my number 3. So now we've hit the top 2.
You know, with the Tull thing, though, I got to say, Jethro Tull has some pretty heavy albums. But the album up for the Grammy that year was not one of the heavy ones. It was one of the folk albums.
Yep. Crazy.
I don't know who the hell came up with that. Okay, hate mail is coming. Here we go, Saint Anger.
Okay.
I fucking love this disc. I'll give you that the drums sound a bit but I usually, when I want to play this, there's a DVD that the band plays the entire album from front to back with Trujillo on bass. I think that is just what makes this album so great to me. I normally, when I play the DVD because the drum sound does drive me nuts, but it does have my favorite Metallica song, Sweet Amber, on this one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of this one. I get the hate. It's nothing like the other stuff, but people were bitching, your stuff's not heavy enough. So they went heavy as shit, and people still hate it. Okay, it meanders and wanders a little bit needlessly sometimes, but I love this album.
Good points all. I mean, when you do something different and you have a fan base of 20 million, 30 million people worldwide, a lot of people are going to hate it. And those are the ones that are going to be the loudest. The ones that love it are not going to be. And I'm sure there are a lot of people just like you that have it up there, but they're just not as heard as the ones that just can't stand it, because that's always what gets the attention, the negativity. So all good points. And I obviously don't own Saint Anger anymore. I had to put it up here in the as a photo and editing later. But I ended up selling it. Maybe I should give it another listen. I tried this week. It just didn't resonate with me still. But who knows?
The DVD. Get the DVD where the full band goes through it. Sounds so much better.
Wow. All right. Well, hear that, people? Do it. All right. I'll take your word for it, and I will give it a chance. My number 2 is this puppy, Ride the Lightning. 1984, second album from the band. Like I mentioned earlier, the incredible leap they took in songwriting from 1 to 2 was just immense. Fade to Black is the first ever Metallica song I heard. And it was just unbelievable. The emotion in that song is so incredible. And of course, all the controversy about suicide and all that. I mean, it's a real song. The words are very, very real. Fight Fire with Fire, Ride the Lightning. I mean, Creeping Death is often considered the best song of all time. It's not for me, but what a riff. I mean, Kirk Hammett, if we could just say here, in my opinion, one of the most underrated guitarists in hard rock and metal ever. I mean, even the band underrates him, I think, at times. They don't even have him. They removed him from some albums, it seems, during that middle period. There wasn't so much as guitar solos as there is now, as there were then and there is now. Certainly the new album's got guitar solos. But anyway, I digress. Call it Cthulhu, I totally agree. And this album, front to back, is a really great listen. I'm really, really having a lot of fun. So what is your number one Metallica album of all time, Rob?
Lulu. No. No. It's not terrible, but no. Death Magnetic is my favorite. It's the only tour I ever saw of theirs. I love this album front to back. It's got my favorite version of The Unforgiven. Suicide and Redemption is one hell of an instrumental track. But sadly, when I reach to listen to this, I don't pull the CD out. I have a version I downloaded many years ago that somebody played Guitar Hero or Rock Band or whatever to, that takes away all the compression. So it's a listenable version of the album, which I enjoy. And I hope they remaster this one because, like Rush's Vapor Trails, it really needed that remix that Vapor Trails got. But like I said, if you find the version, and I don't even know if it's still out there, somebody recorded them playing it on Rock Band, it eliminates the compression and the distortion. Sounds much better.
Very interesting. I did not know that. I mean, I did know that it was remastered in 2015 for their iTunes, like I mentioned, but I was not aware of that. I am a Guitar Hero expert, by the way. Don't tell anybody, but I can tickle the orange keys, and I have spent many, many, many hours. I choose to not admit that too often, but we're amongst friends. So yeah, if Rock Band was a career, I'd be living in a mansion right now. My number one Metallica album, and it's not even close, is Master of Puppets. Front to back, just an absolute classic in every sense of the word. As soon as I heard the title track, Master of Puppets, as a budding prog metal guy, it hit all the buttons for me, kind of, as they say. Just a great epic. Orion, you got to mention, incredible. What do you call it? The Window, Orion, unbelievable. Disposable Heroes, Left from Messiah. This album is filled with them. It's front to back, fantastic. The band, and quite honestly, for me, it's not even close. Metallica made. I know I sound samey. Everybody says that. I can't get away from it. I guess I'm one of those guys. This album just does it for me. Master of Puppets. And I think I did hear the Metallica or the Dream Theater covers, I believe, right on this, which I thought was great too. Dream Theater does great covers.
Yeah, they do.
Aside.
So are we seriously not talking about Lulu or no?
I don't own it. I listened to it and it was hard.
I feel like they could have edited it down to one CD, maybe 50, 60 minutes, and it could have been pretty good. It suffers from being really, really repetitive. And God bless him, Lou Reed did not have the best vocals. I think I'd rather listen to Bob Dylan.
Wow. That says a lot. Rest in peace, Lou Reed. At least Dylan's still around. But yeah, Lulu, again, I didn't like the album, but you got to hand it to Metallica. They had the balls to do stuff like that. Many bands would not. Like, you think AC/DC would ever do something like that? They make the same album over and over and over again, little changes here and there. Metallica, not afraid to stretch it out, which I think is fantastic. Good for them. Maiden is kind of like that too. They do that, they take a left turn now and again. Wow. So that's it. That's the top 10 Metallica albums. Very cool. I thought you were going Saint Anger number one. You almost did.
It wasn't even close. For me, Death Magnetic is just brilliant start to finish.
Awesome.
But
right,
nobody's going to have Saint Anger that high in their list. I want to find somebody that has that in their top three with me. I want to talk to that person. It's probably Dennis DeYoung's wife.
Couldn't have been a video ranking the albums without a mention of Suzanne. Is that her name? Suzanne, yeah. All right. Well, we'll see if she comes up in the next week. That'll be a challenge. It's your homework. All right, man. Well, we'll see you again next week, guys. Thanks for watching again. Please leave your comments below. Check out the prog rock band Liberty's Exiles, which Rob is a member of, one of two members of. Check them out if you like independent progressive rock. Definitely check it out. The links, as always, in the comments. And until we see you again, guys, have a great weekend. Rock out with 72 Seasons. It's coming out today. We'll talk to you in a week. Bye, everyone.